practical with yourself. It's the most important lesson of yoga that I can teach you, is to learn to be practical. Learn to look at things and think about things practically in your life. Does it make sense? Does what you've been taught make sense? And one of them is around sleep. Absolutely, no doubt. The fact that when you go to bed, you should close your eyes and somehow you should lose consciousness. And then somehow in the morning when your alarm goes off, you should just wake up and feel really good. And somehow there's somewhere you go at night for 8 hours. Where is that place? What happens? There's a part of your mind that processes all of these things. And this is called Bhuta Agni. Bhuta Agni. B-U-T-T-H-A. Bhuta Agni. And Bhuta Agni, the Bhuta Agni is the fire within you that digests. Create rituals before you go to bed. Some suggestions or some options, of course there can be many that I don't mention, is prayer, to pray before you go to bed. It's great to practice Yoga Nidra before going to bed, actually. If you do Yoga Nidra or 61 points, the prescription is to practice it on the floor. Do it in a space that is not for sleep. A good rest means a good life. Food and sleep really has so much power over our emotions. Even yesterday when I asked you guys about your food, and there was some emotion behind some of the feedback, and it was okay. The point is, look at how food is affecting us emotionally. Do you want food and sleep to have that much power over your life? So the next one is sex. In the teachings, there are people that do become renunciates, but nowhere in the teachings does it really say that you should become abstinent and not have sex. And we are tantric yogis. Part of tantra is the practice of boga, which means enjoyment, to enjoy all things in life. And sex is something that is considered sacred, pleasurable, fun. It connects us on a higher level. And actually, in the book that I read, the Radiant Sutras, there is a whole practice and science around going into samadhi at the moment of orgasm. It can be very, very powerful, and especially between couples who really honor each other as aspects of the divine and have an attitude of looking to each other as a sacred altar. It can be very transformative. According to the chakra system, there are 2 forms of sex. In the root chakra, sex is primal, whether it's to procreate or, you just do it. But second chakra is when we start getting more into the aspects of desire and fulfillment and delight. And we do things more in reverence of the sacred. The more that you can maintain consciousness and awareness, and this idea, this aspect of the sacred, whether it's food, sleep, sex, and survival, the more you will have awareness about what you're doing and never fall into habits, never fall unconscious. The level that we're starting to talk about and talking about experimentation, we are having tools to get us back on the path, to get us on the right path, i.e. one-to-one breathing, learning to become still, prayer. All of these things are tools, but we need to cultivate compassion for ourselves and give ourselves room to fall off the wagon sometimes. That if we suffocate urges too much, we go a little crazy. The mind is really powerful. When the mind latches onto an idea, it will not let go, especially when you practice yoga. You have to be very careful when you practice yoga what you start to focus your mind on. Bad or good, positive, negative, whatever it is, because whatever you start to focus your mind on Your mind has started, whether or not you realized it at this point, all of you have increased your powers of concentration 100, maybe even 1,000-fold. With relationship to sex, most people, when they go without sex, they go crazy. Because that urge is still there. That if they don't have the proper techniques, that energy is going to do something. Have any of you ever gone without for a long time? Probably unintentionally. And sometimes intentionally, and you feel more energy. At first there's kind of this energy in your body, and you're like, ooh. First you start to feel stuff that you've never felt before, and that's a great thing. This is what happens to people. And it also happens to people when they deny themselves certain pleasures. So the answer then is to regulate. Have a little bit. So I covered food, covered sex, and we've covered sleep. And the last one is survival. Survival is really having enough in our life. We'll get into talking about the 4 desires, but one of those 4 desires is kama, K-A-M-A. Kama is the desire to have enough love, to have enough nourishment. Give yourself what you need. And by the way, the other part of kama is to have enough to spiritually thrive. And be aware that if you give yourself too much of that, that is another level of suffering and distraction. How can I fit my spiritual life into my physical life, my practical life? And then the other aspect of survival is just about fear, looking at what we're afraid of, because fear is directly related to our survival. Learn to address your fears practically. It's great to sit with things. Learning to sit with things is learning to put them in glass jars and looking at it from afar. If we truly love something, we're not attached to it. And that love is non-attachment and non-attachment is love. All I can do is suggest that you practice this by thinking about your actions, not about things so much, but your actions. So much of our actions are done with an expectation of something coming back to us. To do it in a way that you're in service to that person, that you're truly serving that person. I said, so there's 2 kinds of prayer. One is sort of ego-centered prayer, and the other type of prayer is God-centered prayer. And God-centered prayer is to awaken the inner divine, to pray for courage, to pray for inner strength. One of the things that I pray for every day is strength to do my practice, strength to be still, and strength to find that inner light within me. And it's also something I pray for you.